Hi, everyone. Today, we are going to do something that I've really been looking forward to. We are going to cover a tutorial on implementing the PMO template set in Smartsheet. This is a video I've really been wanting to make for a long time. I've had a lot of requests about how do we scale so we know how to create a project schedule in Smartsheet. But now we want to get more sophisticated within our organization, and we actually want to have a portfolio roll up of all of our projects looking at the same information. This is going to be fantastic because it can automate your dashboards and it can make each dashboard look consistent. So if I'm looking at project A, my dashboard looks exactly the same as project B. It looks exactly the same as project C as far as the information that we're tracking and paying attention to. If you've heard the saying, measure what matters, that's important because that's what you actually manage as well. I will tell you, this is an intermediate training tutorial. If you are brand new to Smartsheet, this content might feel a little bit heavy for you. However, I'm going to walk you through step by step. I have slides that I'll be reviewing, and then I will actually go out into Smartsheet and I'll do a little bit of translation because even the instructions in Smartsheet, they were a little bit confusing for me when I was going through this for the first time. So I've got some hints and tips and tricks that should be helpful for you. I'm Candace Porter. I am the founder and managing director of a company called Effective Flow Connections. We work with a lot of organizations on project management consulting, change management consulting, leadership development, and process improvement. I have worked with organizations to help them establish PMOs. And if that's a new term to you, we're talking about a project management office. So generally, project management offices or PMOs are established within an organization for standardization. That can be really important when leadership, they want to look at specific information to help them make better decisions or to determine when they can actually kick off a new project based on resource availability. So PMOs can be really powerful, even if it's a one-person project management office that can help provide governance and oversight on that standardization. That can make a huge improvement to your project management practices. Let's dig in and take a look at this Smartsheet tutorial regarding the PMO template set. We're going to start from the very beginning and I will walk you through step by step. This is part one of a 3-part video. So I'm going to start with a lot of the basics here, and then we will have a part 2 and we will have a part 3 that we will be releasing, getting more and more specific as to how to set this up. So we wanted to do bite-sized pieces. If you watch part 1, feel free to go ahead and move right on to part 2 and so forth to part 3. I hope you enjoy. So when do you want to use the Smartsheet PMO template set? And when we're talking about template sets, we're talking about a pre-built solution. This is something that Smartsheet has already established. It has done a lot of the building, I guess I'll call it, behind the scenes to help the different sheets speak to each other. And it can be really helpful whenever you are trying to introduce a new solution to your organization. There's several reasons why you may want to use this PMO template set. The first one being you want to submit projects for approval, plan, track, and report on multiple projects in one place. So we want to be able to see all projects in one Smartsheet location. You own a portfolio level of all projects and you want metrics in real time. Metrics can be very valuable, and if you're able to automate them, that's even better so that people aren't manually going in there and updating their dashboards and whatnot. This is something that pulls directly from your project schedule and elsewhere, and it reports it out in an easy to understand visual. I'm a visual person. If you are as well, I think that you'll really like this solution. This third option here, or reason why you may want to use this PMO template set, is to automatically be notified when new projects are submitted for approval. I am going to introduce you to the project intake form. It is a form that is designed here in Smartsheet. And this is a link that you could provide to people within your organization. So if they want to request a new project, they enter certain information, they submit it, and then the information that is submitted goes to a sheet that can be managed by the project management office, and you can help set that project up once it's approved to move forward. When you hear the word portfolio, I want you to think of a roll-up of multiple projects. So if you look at this visual here, this can tell you how many projects do we have going on within the entire organization. And if you look at the lower left-hand side of this, where it says number of projects by status, you can see that this is an example of projects that are not started, projects that are in progress, projects that are complete. So you will have the opportunity to customize what information you want on your portfolio dashboard. And that's going to be really helpful so that you can align that with your leadership expectations. So again, when we use the word portfolio, a roll-up of all of the projects that we're working with and have stored in Smartsheet using this Project Management Office or PMO template. This is going to look a little complicated. I'm going to try to boil it down and make it somewhat simple. You will see over here on the left-hand side, that project intake form is going to kick off the entire process for setting up a new project. So someone will have a link to this project intake form, submit certain information. It will go to what I call the back end as far as the sheet that will have every project listed that have come in through that project intake form. And then if you're the one managing the PMO, you can go out and you can make a copy of the project template folder, link it to this project intake sheet, and then go about setting up the project, which will all roll up into your portfolio metrics that we just talked about. So you'll see here on the top, we've got one project as an example. On the bottom, we have another project as an example. Let's call this Project A on the top and Project B on the bottom. And then it rolls up, both of those projects roll up into portfolio metrics to where we're looking at the same information for both projects. We'll walk through all of this step by step. Just wanted to let you know how it's all linked in Smartsheet. We're going to start by searching for this Project Management Office template set. If you're not very familiar with Smartsheet, but you know enough to be dangerous, what you want to do in order to search for this template set is log in. It will take you to your home page. And then I want you to look for that little plus sign on the left-hand side in the dark blue. Click on that, and it's going to take you to the Solution Center, is what it's called. And there will be a search function here. And so go ahead and type in that search function, Project Management Office, and hit enter. Once you do that, you will see that the Project Management Office template set pulls up, and that's what we're going for here. So first, click on the little plus sign. Second, go ahead and type in Project Management Office and click enter. And then third, go ahead and click on the folder that shows up that is called the Project Management Office template set. When you click on that, it's going to have a little short video, I believe it's just over a minute, that gives you a little bit of information about the Project Management Office template set. And then there will be a blue button that says Learn More. I'll I'll show you what that looks like momentarily when we go and take a look at Smartsheet. And once you click on that Learn More, it's going to take you into the template set where it's going to have quite a bit of information. You can scroll through and read all of the information associated with the template set. I will be walking you through this again step by step. However, this is what it's going to look like once you go into the template set. What we need to do is actually download the template set, and that way we can start working with it. So I want you to pay attention to this big green download button, and you're going to click that right where it says download, hover your mouse over it and click it. And that's going to give us the option to download the template set. I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. We'll walk through it together. I am now logged into Smartsheet, and I'm going to walk you through step by step what I just covered on the slides. So I'm on my home page of Smartsheet. I'm going to navigate to the far left-hand side where I see the Solution Center. It looks like a plus symbol. I'm going to click that and look for this search feature up here and type in Project Management Office. Go ahead and click Enter. You will see it pulls up one template set. When I click on that template set, it gives me the option to watch a short video. It gives you a description of the Project Management Office template set, why you may want to use it. And then you will see it has the blue option here to learn more. If I click on that, it's going to load. And as shown on the slide, you can scroll through and read all of this if you'd like. It's going to give you some additional information. It's going to have that same visual that I shared regarding how it works. So the flow of data starting at the project intake form and walking you through how it rolls it up into that Project Management Office portfolio. It walks you through what's included in the template set, and then step by step how to set it up, which is what I'm going to cover. As I mentioned, there are a lot of instructions here, and going through it can be a little bit challenging if you haven't seen it done. And so that's what I want to do today. I want to set you up for success. The first step is to download. I'm going to click on download, this big green button. And when I click on that, where it says Sheets, towards the upper left-hand side, it now has template set Project Management Office. That is exactly what I want to see. And I'm going to show you how we can get that set up in a new workspace so that you can continue to work with it. Now that we have downloaded the PMO template set, I am going to walk you through 5 different steps so that you can set it up and customize it. The first step, I'm going to show you how to create a new workspace. The second step, I'm going to walk you through the project intake sheet, and this is going to be what links to your project intake form. I'll show you how to customize this if you want to add some additional fields that aren't currently in there. And then step 3, we will go to copy the project template folder. Step 4, copy the project ID, which is going to auto-populate based on that intake form. And then 5, we're going to link some of the cells so that everything is operating smoothly. For each of these 5 steps, I'm going to walk through the instructions with you. These instructions are exactly what is in the PMO template set. I have some highlights where it can get confusing, so I want to call those out and let you know the workarounds that I have used to save you a little bit of time. If you're very comfortable in Smartsheet, when we go to create a new workspace, you may be able to do that with your eyes closed. For anyone that is newer, I'm going to walk you through and show you exactly how to do that. I'm back in Smartsheet now, and in order to create a new workspace, I am going to hover over where it says workspace. So if you're not currently in the browse section of Smartsheet, the way that you'll get there on the far left-hand side, you want to look for the little folder shape. When you hover over it, it says browse. Click on that to start, and then hover over workspace. And if you right-click over workspace, it will give you the option to create a new workspace. I clicked on that, and I'm going to name this Awesome PMO. That's what we're going to be working in. Awesome PMO workspace. I have clicked OK, and you now see Awesome PMO. And what I'm going to do is go up to where it says Project Management Office Template Set under Sheets. I'm going to click on that and just drag it down into the folder called Awesome PMO. You will get a notification that says Workspace members will be shared to the items. Do you wish to continue? I don't currently have anyone that is shared in this workspace. So I'm going to click OK. It now shows up as a new workspace, Awesome PMO. I want to click on that, and you will now see Template Set Project Management Office. That was step one that we just covered on how to create a new workspace. Now we want to get into the project intake sheet form. Again, Smartsheet forms are helpful so that you could share out a link, and the purpose is to gather information from someone that may not be hands-on in Smartsheet. So we want to gather information. If we are going to be overseeing the project management office, this is going to be important because this is what initiates the entire project setup. I will call out before I show you in Smartsheet, when it talks about 6 different fields that need collected through the instructions in the Smartsheet template set, I was a little bit confused because number 1 says site name. That actually should say project name. So project name should be one of them. Just disregard where it says site name and think of that as project name. Not sure where site name came from, but it did not show up in my template set when I downloaded it. So don't let that throw you off. Let's take a look now at our project intake sheet, and I will show you how to customize it if you want to track some additional fields or information that isn't currently in here. To get to the project intake sheet, you want to click on the template set within the workspace that you just set up. Going to click there, you're going to see 3 different things in this template set. The one at the top is going to be portfolio level. We will get to that. That'll be a little bit later. The next one, project level. We will work with the project level shortly. Down at the bottom, it says project intake sheet. This is what we want to navigate to first. When you click on it, you may get an alert. I'm just going to click, got it. And what we have here are the mandatory fields that need to be gathered via the intake form, in addition to some other fields that are going to auto-populate based on some of the other links. So I promise we'll continue to work through this. What I want you to look at first are the things that are highlighted in blue. So the project name, the project category, the project manager, the target start date, the target end date. These are all mandatory that are going to come from the project intake form, in addition to the project sponsor. Now, if you've not worked with Smartsheet forms before, I have an entire video on Smartsheet forms and how they work. Basically, someone will enter the information in a Smartsheet form, submit it, and all of their responses will show up on one row within this sheet. So this will house all of the master data. I will show you what the form looks like, and then I'm going to show you how to add another column if you'd like to track something additional. To get to the project intake form itself, so this is the project intake sheet. Be mindful of the terminology. The project intake sheet is going to be where all of the information from all of the submitted forms are stored. The project intake form, to get to that, go up to Forms in the upper left-hand corner, click on that, and you want to go to Manage Forms. This has already been created as part of the template set. Click on Manage Forms. It will load, and you will see it says Project Intake Form. Click on that. And this is the design view of the project intake form. So this is what you'll do if you want to add any fields, move things around. And then I'll show you what the end user or who your customer, whoever they are, what they'll see if they go to fill out the project intake form. Right now, project name is a mandatory field. It's got the little red asterisk on it, which means it's required. You can toggle that on and off on the right-hand side here. If I wanted to not make that field required, I could turn it off. The red asterisk goes away. I do want it to be required, so I will keep it on. That goes for each of these different fields. If you click on each of them, there's options along the right-hand side. So if I wanted to make every single one of these required, which technically they are required for the template set to work properly, you can go ahead and toggle all of them on. We have project name, project category, project sponsor, project manager, target start date of the project, target end date of the project, and if you want anyone to upload any file attachments, that's what it looks like. If I want to show you what the form looks like, I can go up to Open Form in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that. It says here that I need to save because technically I made some changes with toggling on and off. All that you have to do is click on the Save button, the blue button in the upper right-hand corner. Click Save, and then you can go back to Open Form. This is what your end user would see if you share this link with them. So you can send this link to 10 different people. If they each submit a project intake form, each of the forms will end up in your project intake sheet on a different row. I'm going to submit an example here so you can see. I'm going to call it Project Amethyst. Interesting name, plus I love crystals. Project Amethyst. Project category. We will get to later define what this means. For now, I'm just going to say it's a Category 1 project. Project sponsor, that's going to be me. Project manager, my awesome team member Amanda is going to project manage it. Target start date, we want to start this February 2nd. Target end date, we want to end it October of 2023. And again, if I wanted to upload any information, maybe there's a project charter that has been created and I want people to submit the project charters when they go through the project intake form, you can go ahead and provide further instructions to what you want people to attach. They can go ahead and attach that. If they want to receive a copy of their response, they can click send me a copy and enter the email address here. I don't need a copy. I'm going to submit it. That's what we're talking about when we say the project intake form kicks off everything that we're going to talk about regarding the PMO setup. So your customer will come out here, enter the information that you request, and lo and behold, We're going to go back to the project intake sheet now. And I clicked back. It opened a new tab when I opened form. So if I go back to the other tab, this is where I was working on just reviewing the actual form with you. I can click this back button in the upper left-hand corner, project intake sheet. That will take me back to my actual sheet. I'm going to close this out and I want to refresh. There you go. You can see on row 11 that it populated the information I just submitted. Now, another little tricky thing that I discovered about the template set, for some reason, it already has rows 3 through 10. They just keep showing up blank. So I just went ahead and deleted them. That's my little tip. So I'm going to go ahead and delete them. I don't need them. The first project that was technically submitted, because row number 2 is their mock data that is going to link to a template folder that I will show you. So this is technically the first project that is submitted, Project Amethyst, what I just submitted via the intake form, and it automatically gave it a project ID number. That's very important. So it automatically gave it a project ID number, the name of the project I submitted, category 1, Amanda's the project manager, the target start date, target end date, I'm the project sponsor. Now let's say that we have projects in a lot of different countries in a lot of different time zones. And we want to make it easier. So if I'm the PMO lead, what if I need to reach out and ask Amanda a question? I may need to know what time zone she's in. So let's use that as an example. I want to insert a new column where we are going to ask for the project manager's time zone so that we have that in our tracking device. This is simple enough. I'm going to right click. I'm going to insert a column to the left. I'm going to call this PM time zone. And I really just want it to be text or number. They can just type in what time zone they're in. I'm going to click OK. You see now I've got a column for that. I have to go through one more step if I want to add that to my project intake form. I need to go back and edit the form. In order to do that, I'm going to click Save first of all. Always make sure you're saving as you're going back and forth between your intake sheet and your intake form. That way you don't lose anything. Click Save first. Click on Forms again. Manage Forms. Project Intake Form. And you'll see that there's now a field over here where it says PM time zone. These are the fields that we have in the intake sheet that we did not need in the form because they will be populated later. However, I do want to add the time zone. I'll put that right after project manager. And I want to save this. Now, if I go to open form, I've got the project name, project category, project sponsor, project manager, and now PM time zone. So the next person that submits the project intake form, they'll have that listed on there. They can submit it, and that will auto-populate that column that we just added in the project intake sheet. Think of sheet as the Excel looking form. So sheet is what we're thinking of when we're thinking of the Excel multiple projects. When we think of form, almost think of a survey or questions that we're asking people that they submit, and then that feeds into the sheet. I am now going to navigate back to the intake sheet. Again, here's the form I was just working on. I'm going to click on the project intake sheet. I will close out that form pop-up, and I now have customized another field that I want to add to that intake form. We have just completed step 2 of 5, the project intake sheet and form. Again, the site name, actually think of project name instead. And I've shown you how to customize it. So if you want to add some additional fields to your project intake form, you now know how to do that. And we will move on to step 3. Step 3 is going to really focus on copying the project template folder. For each project that comes in via an intake form, we are going to need to follow this step and copy the project template folder. This is going to be important. Know that there's a lot going on in this slide here, or on this slide. Pay attention to the bottom kind of sentence highlighted in red. The first step in kicking off a new project is to make a copy of the project template folder, which is inside the project level folder. So I showed you there are 3 things that came as part of the template set: the portfolio folder, the project folder, and then the intake sheet and form. We're now going to navigate out to the project level folder, and I'll show you what to do. I'm back in Smartsheet, and I am within Awesome PMO. That's what I named my workspace. I have clicked on the template set, and I am now navigating to the project level folder. This came as part of the template set. When I click on this, you're going to see another folder inside, and it's called Project Template. And it actually says in parentheses after it, copy for new projects. I'm going to right-click on this. I'm going to save as new. When the menu pops up, I'm going to navigate to save as new, click on that, and I can name it anything that I want. My new project's name is Project Amethyst. I'm going to go ahead and call it Amethyst as the project name to keep it nice and simple. Everything else is set up the way I need it to be here, so I'm just going to name it and click Save. We're now going to have 2 folders in here. The one that we need to keep in here that says Project Template, copy for new projects, we're going to always need to go through this step. Each time we're kicking off a new project, we need to come out here, keep the project template the way it is, right-click it, save as new, and call it the name of the new project or whatever other naming system you would like to use. We have now completed step 3, which is copy the project template folder. You now have the new project name saved as a separate folder within your workspace that you created. That's going to take us to step number 4, which is to copy the project ID. This is a very important step. We need to make sure that we're linking the project intake sheet with the project folder that we just created. So I need to link Project Amethyst in that project intake sheet to the project folder. So I'm going to walk you through this. The first thing that we're going to do from the project intake sheet, copy the project ID for the specified project. I can already tell you that automatic number that I pointed out, it's going to be 005 in this case. That auto-populated when I submitted Project Amethyst via the intake form. That's the number we're looking for. So we're going to go out there, get that number from our project intake sheet, and then we want to paste it over the placeholder project ID. When we go out to Project Amethyst, the folder that we just duplicated, there is going to be a sheet in there that's called Project Metadata Sheet. This is what we want to click on. And again, we want to add that auto number that was populated from that intake form being submitted. I'll walk you through this now because again, Lots of instructions. It seems a little bit heavy, but when you see it in action, it's not that bad. I'm back in Smartsheet now. I am right where I left off. I have duplicated the project template folder. I renamed it Project Amethyst or just Amethyst. I want to click on that now. What we want to look for when we go into this folder for the first time is project metadata. We're looking for the project metadata sheet. I just clicked on that. And right here where it says project ID, this gray column, this is exactly what I want to update with the new numbering system that comes from the project intake sheet. I can tell you, I looked at the auto numbering when I submitted the intake form. It's SM-005. Yours probably will be too, because it is Smartsheet's auto numbering system. Each time a new project is submitted, it's probably going to go to the next number. So 005, 006, 007. So I know off the top of my head, all I need to do is change that 004 to 005 and watch what happens when I click enter. It's going to change from Project Apollo, which is a placeholder project that comes in the template set, to Project Amethyst and the information that I submitted. I'm now clicking enter. Watch it happen real time. Beautiful. Everything changed. Amethyst, category 1. Amanda's my project manager. I'm the project sponsor. Our target start date, our target end date. I don't want you to worry about anything in yellow yet. We're going to be doing that as a next step. So don't worry about that right now. What we wanted to see auto-populate with the information that came from our project sheet is exactly what I have highlighted here. Our project name, project category, project manager, project sponsor, target start date, target end date. And all we had to do was align the project ID. I switched it from 004 to 005, which was the automated number that was provided when the intake form was submitted. Make sure you click save on this, as always, as we're working within Smartsheet. We have now completed step 4 out of 5. We went in, we copied the project ID from our project intake sheet into our new project, which is Amethyst, in the project metadata sheet. That now tells us that we can move on to step number 5, and the final step that we will be covering in this particular video. Again, I'm going to have a part 2 and a part 3 that all ties into using this template set. The part 2 video that you should be able to find, it's called Customize Project Intake and Portfolio Level. So that's coming up next as a part 2 video, so be on the lookout for that. And this is all part of the Smartsheet tutorial PMO template set. Step 5, again, very, very important that we link some of these cells so that everything is talking the way it's intended to within Smartsheet. In a nutshell, we want to go to the project intake sheet. So that's the first sheet that we took a look at. And we want to look for the columns that are highlighted in yellow. We're going to navigate to the columns that are highlighted in yellow. We are then going to link from cell in other sheet, and we are going to navigate to the project metadata that we just updated and link them together. So let's look at this real time. Again, this is something that seems a little bit confusing if you're just following through with the instructions. I'm a visual person. I like to see demos and tutorials. So let's go back out to Smartsheet and take a look. This is where I left off. I'm still in the project metadata section of the workspace. So I'm just going to click the back arrow. This is going to take me to Project Amethyst. That is the new project and everything that copied with it. I need to go back one more. So I'll click the back button one more and one more, which takes me to the main folder where it says project intake sheet. You can also just click on template set and have one click versus several back clicks. So feel free to do it however you like to work within Smartsheet. I back clicked a few times, but the main goal is get to where your project intake sheet is stored. Click on that. You see, this is where I submitted Project Amethyst, the original sheet that we looked at. Because it wasn't in the form when I submitted the new project, I'm going to put Amanda's time zone in here just so we have a record of it. We're going to say EST time. Let's go back to step 5 though. We're looking for the yellow columns right here. Start date, end date, dashboard link, schedule at risk, project status. I want you to highlight all 5 of them. So just click and drag, right click. When you right click, navigate to link from cell in other sheet. From there, you need to navigate to the new project folder. I know that we're working within the Awesome PMO workspace. I clicked on that and it opens up all of the options. I'm going to look for Project Amethyst, my new project, and project metadata. Click on that and it's going to show you a preview of what is in project metadata. We've already updated our project ID, auto-populated what it should. And now if I scroll over, it's got the same 5 columns: start date, end date, project dashboard, schedule at risk, project status. I'm going to highlight those same 5 columns in yellow and click create link. It has now populated the information directly from the Amethyst project metadata. So they're now linked. So what shows up in one is going to show up in the other. If I update it in my project intake sheet, it's also going to update it in my Amethyst project metadata sheet and vice versa. So they're absolutely linked. They're going to show the same information. What I want to do now is click on that save button. Don't worry about the information that showed up in here. We're going to work through that in part 2 of the video series. If you're ready to keep going now, go ahead and look for part 2 of the Smartsheet PMO tutorial. I am Candace Porter. Today, we looked at setting up the PMO template set from scratch, all the way through setting up our intake form, our intake sheet, and our project metadata sheet. The next session is going to take a look at how to customize your project intake and portfolio level. So it's going to take it a little bit further there. I'm really excited to work through this with you. I hope that you're finding it easier to navigate as we walk through the instructions. Again, I give you a few of my tips because the instructions are a little bit gray at some point, in my opinion. And then I'll go out to Smartsheet and show you exactly how to do it. If you're to the point, you're through all 5 steps that we just worked through, awesome. You're ready to move on to part 2. If you got hung up anywhere, or if you have a question about anything, leave a comment. I'll keep an eye on the comments because I want you to be able to move on to the next steps. That's really important. I'm so excited to be here. Candace Porter. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please do. I focus on all things project management. It's not limited to Smartsheet. However, I do a lot of Smartsheet videos. Thanks for watching. See you soon.